Welcome back, everybody, to Fusion's Ramblings. What are we going to talk about today? Well, in this video, we will spend the next 15 minutes rambling on about a random topic. And today we have decided to ramble on about one of my favorite book series, and that is the Chronicles of Amber by Roger Zelani. Uh, Most of you probably have no idea who that is, and mainly because a lot of these books came out in the early 70s. That kind of dates me, even before I was born. The Chronicles of Amber is a series of books that focus on a world not quite centered around Earth. Because what happens is while the story starts on Earth, the main character, Corwin, uh, he goes on a mission to find out who he really is. Um, because he's kind of confused. He wakes up in a hospital and he's not quite sure who he is, what happened, and this guy comes along and starts guiding him along the path and teaching him of what to do. And it all kind of starts a little bit strange. The Chronicles of Amber is centered around. Oops, my cat decided to lay on the keyboard. Sorry, cat. Onto the floor. um, is centered around being able to travel between different worlds through the use of cards, and only certain people can do it. They're kind of like, you could say player cards, a deck of cards that you have for a poker game or something along that line. But they are focused on a scene, and certain users, these princes of Amber, which Corwin finds out that he is, can look at these cards and make them become real. And as a result, when you look up next, you are at that location, wherever that card is displaying, the scenery. There are other ways to travel as well, but it takes a lot longer, and you have to travel across the dimensions, or whatever you want to call them, um, through more practical means, um, and you have to know where to go to be able to get to the different locations. And Earth is, within this universe, as well as many other, you could say, Earth-like worlds and, universes and dimensions, and you name it. Endless possibilities, really, when you think about it. The whole story is based on him traveling home to his to the kingdom where he was born, so that he can claim the throne as king or emperor, or whatever you want to call it. And he's going to have to fight for that, because there are 9 princes in the first book, and each of them have a right to the throne because their father has disappeared, and the throne has the ultimate power, and a whole battle ensues over it. He gets imprisoned by his own brothers. His eyes get burned out. They grow back. Fortunately, he has some healing capability, but it takes a long time, where he's sitting in a cell and discovers a unique way to get out of the cell by drawing a scene. Well, he doesn't draw it, but he has the artist that created the cards, who's also in prison, so he can't create more cards and help other princes out. Draw a scene on the prison wall using some charcoal to escape. And then, of course, Corwin goes on a mission where he collects guns from Earth, because guns really don't exist in Amber. They rely on fencing, swordplay, bows, all of that. And that's what their armies are equipped with. And then he goes to another planet and gets these gorilla, monkey, ape type people. He hires them, becomes their king, actually, kind of, and they follow him to go claim the homeland. And he trains them on how to use the guns from Earth. which he purchased by going to another planet where there was an abundance of diamonds that he could sell. So, I mean, what a complex universe. But it is a really good book. It's written by Roger Zelani, um, and there's a series of books that came out in the early 70s and went all the way through, and there's 5 of them in the main story. Ends up, that I won't spoil everything, ends up that he doesn't quite get what he was hoping to get. He discovers, partnerships and friendships with his brothers and sisters, and of course enemies. Many of them die, unfortunately, and his battle for the throne fails several times. Ends up having to destroy the entire, I guess, universe and recreate it. You name it. Very complex. But what I like about it is the style that it's delivered in. I first read it when I was still fairly young and in, I think, junior high school, in fact. I just came across it. I can't remember. I think my mom had a copy of some of the books, and that's where I first started reading them. And got into it and was thrilled by it and excited by it because it was fantasy and all of that. But it's centered around one character, and you follow him through all of his different experiences and his thoughts, and what's going on. And there's a lot of different types of moments, from adventure to frustration and sadness to exploration and victory and you name it. But it created a really good story to follow. So I highly recommend it just for that purpose. And then, the if you were imaginative like me and you loved sci-fi, then it just let you look at something a little bit different, that there was more than just the physical universe that we know, and there was an entire world out there, or universe, whatever you want to call it, that existed based on um, someone's someone else's reality, what they imagined the world to be, and that's what initially got created. And from there, um, each different world or each dimension or each location kind of spun out on its own and became its own thing. And that type of a possibility, I know a lot of people talk about, like, okay, well, is there a multiverse or something like that where there's infinite possibilities of, existence or things like that? And whether or not that's all true or not, who knows, but maybe we'll never know. But it's just fun to think about. Uh, you know, and the method of travel that, there's this deck of cards, and there's only so many sets of the cards, and they were given to the princes and a few other people, um, and a lot of them are lost and destroyed, unfortunately, and um, but they open up possibilities to go different places, doorways. I mean, I'm sure as a child you always imagined having an escape. There were times you just wanted to get away, get out. Depending on where you lived, you may not have really had that opportunity to even get outside much. And so having something like that provided a alternative way of that you could look at a picture and travel somewhere else that existed, um, is kind of neat. How convenient that would be, I mean, we talk about sci-fi transporters today and all that good stuff. How about just some cards with some pictures that you look at and go, I want to go here, and boom, you're there. That would be quite interesting. Those cards would be worth a lot of money. um, who knows? Maybe one day. Anyways, great book. highly recommended to give a read. And he has a lot of other books too that um, go in different paths. There's the Merlin Cycle, which is a series of books that still cycle around that same kingdom of Amber, and everything that's happening within that world. And then there's some supplementary books and things that came out as well that supported the world and the writing and how Amber was created and stuff like that, but it makes it for fun. And today, of course, you have the advantage of having audiobooks that you can go and just listen to. A lot of them on YouTube are free, or you can get Audacity, or not Audacity, or Audible. Yes, I had to think. And there's a lot of other programs out there where you can, you know, uh, find good books, classic books like this, and then just listen to them. And so I highly suggest that as an activity. If you can get your hand on an actual book, that's even better, because I think the actual book is always better to read as an experience. Not very many people, young people, do that much more outside of their college books or school books, required reading, which is kind of sad. People are kind of glued to the digital world, games, TV, mobile devices, you name it, um, and still being able to read older books like this. There's a lot of good new books and new authors, but there's a lot of really good old stuff out there that exists that people just aren't aware of because it's old. It's been there forever, and so it's not something that you see come out in the bookstores as a, hey, there's this new bestseller, type of thing, and you hear about it and all of that. You got to go search for these, and I highly recommend you do, and you're going to find a lot of really good classic books. I always liked going to yard sales, garage sales, or the little bookstores that sell used books, and you look for the old classic books of whatever style you prefer. Corby, do you need help? Maybe. And just pick them up and see if you like them. Whether it's you like drama, whether you like biographies, whether you like sci-fi. You need to explore, and you need to encourage your children to explore too. Or if you're of a young age watching my series here, I encourage you to do that. Um, it's all good and well to play games like we're doing right now, but there's a lot of really neat things out there that have been written in the past and currently, uh, that can give you different perspectives, ideas on life, and allow you to explore your own creativity and go from there. I like sci-fi, I like adventure, a good biography, and of course anything from a factual or documentary. I like all of that. Um, and I'll read, any of those anytime I come across them and I have the chance to, or listen to the audiobook. Um, just because it expands my knowledge, it gives me more things to think about. Not that I don't have enough, and it's a great pastime, and it's a great way also to just keep your mind fresh and have new ideas and thoughts come up. Some other great books that you might look into out there would be like books from Larry Niven, which is like the Ringworld series, or you could look at Anne McCaffrey, uh, Dragon Riders of Pern, which my Minecraft server is named Pern and kind of modeled after that, but that's another really good author with a lot of different uh, mini stories. The Dragon Riders of Pern is just one, and that one's not about dragons existing in the past and um, knights fighting them and castles and all of that. That one's about dragons in the future that were created by man to fight a threat from space. Very exciting. Anyways, we are out of time today in our rambling topic, but I appreciate you coming back and look forward to seeing you next time as I ramble on about something on Fusion's Ramblings. I don't know if I have to do that for the outro, but it's kind of fun. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day, and we will see you next time.